The official Josh Berry to Stewart-Haas Racing announcement is coming sooner rather than later. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and a very happy Father's Day. We've got some intriguing news to react to today, a precursor of what's to come later this week. But first, this episode is sponsored by my friends at Pristine Auction. PristineAuction.com is the premier destination for sports memorabilia and collectibles auctions. At Pristine Auction, you can bid on a wide range of items starting at just $1, including thousands of signed pieces from your favorite athletes. Every item sold on PristineAuction.com comes with its own certificate of authenticity from the industry's most reputable authenticators. If you're looking to boost your NASCAR collection, head to PristineAuction.com and use code GROOVE when you register to get $10 off your first item won. Click the registration link down in the description below. Be sure to check out all things Pristine Auction. Thank you to Pristine for sponsoring the show. I hope everyone survived the lone NASCAR off weekend. Today, the topic is NASCAR free agency. We'll get to the latest reports out of Stewart-Haas Racing in just a few moments, but I want to begin with Martin Truex Jr. because ever since his win at Sonoma last week, a key talking point has been, hey, can we finally put the Martin Truex Jr. retirement talks to bed, at least for this year? And I think that's a fair question. Now, Martin Truex Jr. officially has still not committed to racing beyond this year, but with every week and with every win, the odds of him returning seem to go up significantly. Now, last week I reacted to some of David Wilson of Toyota Racing Development's SiriusXM NASCAR radio appearance, specifically the bit where he mentioned that Jimmy Johnson will in fact drive a Toyota Camry in NASCAR next year. But one portion of that radio interview I kind of glossed over, but I'll mention it now, was when he talked about Martin Truex Jr. and when he was asked if he believes winning recently, if he thinks Martin Truex Jr. is more likely to return. David Wilson said that he is optimistic Truex will return. He said, quote, "From my frame of reference, where he is a future Hall of Famer in this sport. It's about how much fun he's having. And you see him climbing out of that race car more and more often with a smile on his face." Toyota sounds very confident that Truex will return. We already know Joe Gibbs wants Martin Truex Jr. to stay in that 19 car. Until Martin Truex Jr. officially makes a decision, we don't know for sure. I think those retirement talks are going to continue to linger, but I think I said this last week. If I were a betting man, if I had to bet my life savings on Martin Truex Jr.'s future plans, I would say, yeah, he'll be back. He's not going to retire after this season. He's won 2 races, 3 if you include the Clash. He's leading the points right now, and he's only 42 years old. I know we say only, but 42 for an NBA player is ancient. For a NASCAR driver is really not that old. Kevin Harvick is top 5 in points right now at age 47. So Truex, if he's having fun and continues to be competitive, he and James Small seem to be clicking very well this year, I don't see why Truex wouldn't want to return. I don't know that much about Martin Truex Jr.'s personal life, but it's not like he has a bunch of young kids growing up, something like that where he needs to be home all the time. You hear from other drivers like Eric Almirola, who's weighing retirement. He'll talk all the time about his family, his kids. I don't think Martin Truex Jr. is in the same situation, but again, I don't know much about his personal life. But from what I can see as an outsider, I agree. Truex looks happy. I think he returns. But it's not official until it's official. Let's move on to Stewart-Haas Racing because that is the big breaking news today. Matt Weaver, writing for Sportsnaut, says that Josh Berry will replace Kevin Harvick in the NASCAR Cup Series with an official announcement scheduled for Wednesday. Since that initial report this morning, Stewart-Haas Racing has officially scheduled an announcement for 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. Noon Central, a major announcement. We can almost make it official. Berry to SHR has been rumored for, I think, a couple months now. A few weeks ago, Jordan Bianchi of The Athletic reported that Stewart-Haas and Josh Berry were finalizing a deal. So this isn't really a shocking revelation, but it's good to know that the deal sounds like it's official. Some key facts from this Matt Weaver Sportsnaut story are that Rodney Childers will remain the crew chief of the number 4. He will work with Josh Berry next year. Berry has also reportedly signed with KHI, which is the management company founded by Kevin Harvick. And also, there are no reports of any confirmed sponsorship for Josh Berry. I'll be really curious to see on Wednesday if Anheuser-Busch, Busch Light, if they're still going to be involved with the team in any way, shape, or form, or if the rumors of them ditching Stewart-Haas for Trackhouse are true. So I'll be very curious to see if Wednesday's announcement sheds any light on that. Real quick thoughts on Josh Berry to Stewart-Haas Racing. I know I've talked about this a bit already, but the reason this story continues to circulate, the reason anytime a new rumor comes out, it's red hot, it takes over the internet, is because it is a cool story. 32-year-old Josh Berry working his way through the short track ranks, through the stock car ranks to get a competitive NASCAR Cup Series opportunity primarily based off his talent is a great story. And unfortunately, if you look at the history of major motorsports, it's a somewhat uncommon story. We've talked about it recently. I think Kyle Busch last year said the truck series is something like 95% just kids with money. Joey Logano said recently that he wants to run more truck races this year but doesn't have the sponsorship to do so. We talked about it last week, but Greg Van Alst, the most recent ARCA Daytona winner, said that the only teams that make money are the ones who have, rich young kids writing them big checks. I could go on, but the point is that primarily it's the privileged who make it far in professional racing. You gotta have some talent, sure, but more importantly, if you have the money to get started in racing at a young age, to continue your career, to write those checks, to land the most competitive rides as you rise up through the ranks, it's those drivers who typically win out and get the better opportunities over folks like Josh Berry, who primarily has gotten to where he is today based solely on his talent. Now, I'm not going to pretend Josh Berry hasn't gotten a little lucky at times or caught a big break here or there. I mean, the guy met Dale Earnhardt Jr. over iRacing in the 2000s, formed that relationship. That's a pretty strong character to have in your corner. He ended up racing late models for Dale Jr. But at that point, the rest is history. I mean, Josh Berry went out and won everything there is to win pretty much. He's won a NASCAR Weekly Series championship, a Cars Tour late model stock championship. I mean, I could go on and on. Then 2021, won 2 races in the Xfinity Series and a part-time opportunity. Last year went full-time in Xfinity, won 3 races, made the championship 4. Yes, it was that relationship with Dale Jr. that jump-started Josh Berry's career, but it's been his talent that's propelled him, I think, ever since. Considering who is available, what sort of free agents are on the market, I think Stewart-Haas is making a good pick going with Josh Berry. I think he is a good driver. 2023 so far has been a little more miss than hit for Berry. He's winless, but hey, all of Junior Motorsports only has 1 win as a team, so everyone's been a little off. Josh Berry this year has turned heads subbing for Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman in the Cup Series, where in 8 part-time substitute Cup Series starts, Josh Berry has 3 top 10s. It's pretty good. I think Stewart-Haas Racing is making a good choice here with Josh Berry. Last time we talked about Josh Berry, I was surprised by the number of comments I got from fans who were asking if Josh Berry is making the right decision going to Stewart-Haas Racing. And at first y'all got me kind of second guessing myself, like, shoot, am I missing something? Or is there another great team knocking on Berry's door that he could race for instead? But after thinking about it for a while, no, I stand by my original take. Stewart-Haas Racing is a great opportunity for Josh Berry, and I think he's smart to take it. Sure, Josh Berry could have stayed in the Xfinity Series and become the next Justin Allgaier, the next Michael Annett, someone who, contends for a few wins a year, maybe contends for the championship, and just makes a living in the Xfinity Series. But every race car driver wants to make it to Cup one day, wants to contend for wins at the highest level of stock car racing. And assuming Josh Berry is no different, if he ever wanted to go Cup racing, I think he had to jump at this opportunity because I don't see many other great opportunities coming his way in the near future. I understand that Stewart-Haas Racing is not that good right now. They certainly aren't ascending, they're descending right now, if anything. But the car Josh Berry is getting into is that 4 car, which will still have Rodney Childers at the helm. That car right now is 5th in points. And obviously Kevin Harvick, future Hall of Famer, deserves a ton of credit, but I think Rodney Childers deserves some credit as well. Remember, before Stewart-Haas Racing, Rodney Childers was winning races at MWR with David Rudiman and Brian Vickers. The guy's a really good crew chief, and I think Josh Berry is very fortunate to get to team up with him. I don't expect Berry to be as good as Kevin Harvick next season. Harvick's 5th in points right now. My prediction right now for Josh Berry is, maybe he's a fringe playoff contender. I think he certainly could point his way into the top 16, maybe nabs a win somewhere. But while Harvick today runs 5th to 10th every week, I expect Berry to run 12th to 16th next season. That's a playoff contender, in my opinion. And having Rodney Childers by your side is a huge deal. But sure, I'll give you, Stewart-Haas is not as good as they once were. They appear to be descending at the moment, but where else would Josh Berry have gone? Again, assuming he wants to get to Cup one day, like all drivers do. Junior Motorsports doesn't really appear to be that close to going Cup Series racing. Yeah, they keep talking about it, but then money gets involved and they kind of say no. Hendrick's lineup is locked up for years. There's no space there. Team Penske's lineup is locked up. Trackhouse, RCR, I think their lineup is locked up unless they go out and buy a third charter, but that would be huge news if that happened. 2311, I think Bubba and Tyler Reddick are locked in. Again, they could go buy a third charter. They're always talking about expansion, but until that happens, it seems a little far-fetched. Joe Gibbs Racing may have a spot open up in the next couple of years, but they seem really high on John Hunter Nemechek, and they've got Sammy Smith tearing it up. Corey Heim coming through the ranks. Spire maybe would have a seat available, but I'd take SHR over them. Wood Brothers maybe, but they need a driver that brings a lot of funding. I don't think Colleague has room. They seem to like AJ and Justin Haley. Legacy Motor Club, I think, is sticking with Eric Jones and Noah Gragson, so there are no other options. RFK's not happening. If Josh Berry wanted to go cup racing, you can't pass up the number 4 with Rodney Childers at Stewart-Haas. I know Stewart-Haas isn't that great, but that's still a super team. They still have great resources. They could still turn things around over time. I understand that some fans are upset that he's going to be leaving Dale Jr., leaving Chevrolet, but if you ask me, I'll bet Dale Earnhardt Jr. is as proud of Josh Berry as anyone in the world right now. I know Dale Jr. takes great pride in helping others realize their full potential, accomplish their goals. Josh Berry has been Dale Jr.'s guy for more than a decade now. He's seen firsthand how much Josh Berry has grown. To see Berry now rise to a point that he's a contender in a NASCAR Cup Series ride, I bet you Dale Earnhardt Jr. is extremely excited about this deal. Now, obviously, Dale Jr. has the difficult task of replacing Josh Berry in the Xfinity Series, but Dale will figure that out. It'll be fine. But let me know down in the comment section below what you think. It sounds like on Wednesday, we will know officially who drives that number 4 car after this season. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, you love NASCAR, you're in the right place, hit that subscribe button down below. And thank you, as always, to my very generous Patreon supporters for your support. I will see you again later this week. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday, folks. Take care.